Hey guys, I'm Sarah Says Hi and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be making hazelnut bark like this. This video is sponsored by nutstop.com. They were kind enough to send me some nuts, so we're gonna go ahead and try them out in today's recipe. So if you're curious on how to make this hazelnut bark, stay tuned. Today we're going to be making a hazelnut bark using some hazelnuts, and I have never cooked anything with hazelnuts before, but I do like those Rochero chocolates that do use hazelnuts in it, so it's going to be similar to that, only we're not making like the little truffles. And this is roasted hazelnuts, filberts unsalted. I don't know what a filbert is, but these are hazelnuts that the Nut Stop sent me, so we're going to be using them in our recipe. And these do have the skin on it. So what we're going to do first is we're actually going to place them in the oven on a baking sheet for 15 minutes. And when they come out of the oven, it'll be very easy to remove the shell, so the recipe says. By the way, this recipe is made by Paleo Mom, and I will have a link down below to her blog where she has this recipe. I found it on Pinterest. This is not my recipe, so I give full credit to Paleo Mom. I actually won't be like sharing the exact measurements, but I will be putting the link down below so that you can go and get the recipe to make it yourself. But you will need quite a bit of the hazelnuts, so I would recommend just getting a big, this is a 1 pound bag of hazelnuts, so I would just recommend getting a 1 pound bag. And then you're going to, you could use coconut oil, you can use, she says butter, ghee, there was another oil in there, I don't remember, but we're just going to use butter today. This is sea salted butter. And then you're gonna need 12 ounces of chocolate. So we're making this keto friendly, so this is going to be Lily's. It's Lily's bag of 70%, I believe. No, 55% cocoa. So you can use any percentage of chocolate that you wish. Obviously, the higher number you have, the darker the chocolate, the lower the carbs. But we're going to be using Lily's baking chips today. And then this is optional, but this is flaky sea salt. This one is Malden sea salt flakes. I got this from Amazon. I will put a link to these products down below for you. The Nut Stop, there will be a code down below in the description in which you can get 10% off of your order if you use it. So I highly recommend that you use it. So let's get on with the first step, which is going to be to roast the hazelnuts in our oven. So right now my oven is on, it's preheating to 350. So I'm just gonna get a baking sheet. It didn't say whether or not you needed parchment paper or anything, but I think since there are oils in nuts, that I am gonna go ahead and put some parchment paper down on the baking sheet. Okay, so I went ahead and got some parchment paper, just poured my hazelnuts in an even layer here, and we're going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes. So our hazelnuts are done, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out of the oven. As you can see, they're nice and roasted, shiny with all the oil. And then the next thing you need is a towel that you don't mind staining. We're gonna let these cool for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go on to the next step of pouring some into a towel and getting all of the shells off of the nuts. So what we're going to do is take a handful of nuts into our towel first. They're just gonna be hot. Yes, they are hot. Oh my goodness. Needed to cool a little bit longer, I think. Oh my gosh, way too hot. Okay, Okay, and then we're just going to rub them with the towel. And supposedly, if you toasted them long enough, they should come off fairly easy. If they don't, then you needed to roast them longer, and they are coming off pretty good. So you can see that they are coming off pretty good there. They are very, very hot. I will give them that. And it does make a mess. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting all the skin off of the remaining nuts and show you what we're going to do next. Be right back. Oh boy, that was so messy. I think I'm gonna find shells of hazelnuts on this counter for the next couple days. Anyhow, so I did the best that I could here. It's not perfect, but got most of the shells off, and they're nice and warm and toasted and have that nice nutty smell to them. So what I like to do is, the recipe tells you that you can go ahead and pour these into a Ziploc bag and then use a rolling pin to kind of smash them and make them smaller. I actually prefer, whenever I'm using nuts in any of my recipes and I need to chop them or something, I actually prefer using a pestle, mortar and pestle, I guess it's called. Because I feel like you have more control over the sizes that way. So I'm just gonna pour out about half of these back into the pan so that I could smash them around here a little bit. Just kind of smash them a bit. I think that's good there. So I'm gonna pour these into another container, add the rest of these, and I'll be right back. FYI, you are going to need more than one bag of the Lily's chocolates. I think that was a 9-ounce bag, and you need 12 ounces for this recipe. So again, please check out the recipe. Don't go by just what I'm showing you here. I did have another bag of sugar-free chocolate chips in my pantry that I had to get. So I have some boiling water in this pan with a heat-proof, oven-proof glass bowl. And we're going to melt the chocolate and our butter. Slowly pour in the chocolate here. And I have my heat on 3, which is like a not quite medium, lower setting, I guess. And it's already, the chocolate's already starting to melt. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw my butter in too. And again, she says you can use coconut oil, you can use ghee. There was something else in there too. Palm butter, I think it was. But I just like using butter. And the chocolate is melting really quickly and the butter is not yet. I prefer doing this. She does say that you can melt it in the microwave. Actually, she doesn't even mention using a double broiler. Or double boiler, is that what it's called? I'm not sure. But I prefer to cook chocolates this way because you have less chance of burning it like you would in the microwave. Okay, so we're gonna continue to let this melt, and while it's melting, I'm gonna go ahead and put another piece of parchment paper over our baking sheet and get ready for the receiving of this chocolate. So all the chocolate is melted now and the butter is melted. So we're gonna go on to the next step of pouring this onto our parchment paper on the pan. For this part, you want a smaller pan. Like, we used a pretty good sized pan to roast the hazelnuts on, but you actually want a smaller pan because you want your bark kind of thick. And if you put it on that great big pan, it's gonna spread out and be very, very thin. So this is a smaller pan. I don't know what size it is, but I have a 3-pan set and it's the smallest one. So choose a small pan. Getting water on my parchment, you don't want that. Yeah, make sure you don't get water from the condensation dripping onto your parchment paper because we don't want water underneath our chocolate layer. So now we have the chocolate there, just gonna spread it out because we don't want it that thick. think she said you want about 1/4 of an inch thick. So trying to get more into the edges so that it's not so thick in the middle. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our hazelnuts. I think I could have crushed mine a little smaller. A little smaller would have been good, I think. Okay, so I actually did not use the full amount that she said. I used about half of the hazelnuts. So you may not need the full amount that she's saying, because I think if I would put all of this on here, that's way too much. So, and then what I'm gonna do is just kind of gently pat so that some of it will sink down further into the chocolate and not just be like floating on top. It's up to you. This is just what I'm doing. Don't mind me. First time I ever made this, so pat, pat, pat. From my keto best friend, she does that in her recipes if you ever watched her, which I recommend you watch her channel. She's hilarious. Yeah, so I don't think I need to really put any more hazelnuts on there. I think that is a good amount. And then it's optional, but this is the sea salt flakes. So I'm just gonna put, I think it says 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm just gonna do like a pinch over it so that it looks nice and pretty. And I think maybe a little bit more flakes over here on this side, in the corners. There. So now we're just gonna let this cool in the refrigerator for a little bit until it's completely hard. And then we will break it up into pieces and have our hazelnut bark. So let's put this in the fridge. I will be back when we are done with refrigeration. Guys, so the chocolate has now cooled down. So it looks like all I'm gonna do is take a wooden spoon and just kind of break it up into big chunks, however big you want. Ooh. Okay, it's not breaking beautifully. Maybe it needed to cool some more or harden more, I don't know. Let's give it a good tap. Okay, not working that way. Okay. Let's try this method. Let's just try breaking it like so. Oh yeah, that's much better. So you're just gonna break it into large pieces. And it's not snapping, but it's been cooled in the fridge for about an hour, but it's already starting to melt in my hands here. But you can see how good it looks right there. There we go. So I'm just going to continue breaking the pieces. I'm going to go ahead and taste this chocolate. Here we go. So we have a nice piece right here. Lots of hazelnuts. Okay, so here you go. So good. Love it. There is a slight cooling effect to the chocolate, and that's because I used a mixture of Lily's dark chocolate, which does use erythritol, and then I used the No Bake baked something brand. I used Bake Believe brand chocolate chips for, I think there's probably about 3 ounces of these in there. That also uses erythritol. That's good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget that the recipe is available down below in the description link. Also down below is a coupon code for nutstop.com so that you can get 10% off of your orders. And I thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, and we will see you in the next one.